Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are in the world. This is Sean Hewitt, and this is the International Business Growth Hub run by my company, the Trusted Business Community Association. Today, we have got a great spread of professionals from around the world, and we are joined with our keynote speaker here, Mr. Paul de Kock. Paul is a member here at the Trusted Business Community Association, and he's going to be talking about something that can be considered as quite a little bit marmite for some people. Some people love it, some people hate it, some people are not quite sure whether they do or they don't. But he's going to make it taste a little bit sweeter with some explanation of what it's all about. Yes, we're talking AI, my friends, today, and here is Paul de Kock, our keynote.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks for the intro. I've got two screens here, so I just need to um, share this one. There you go. Um, I just want to say I'm not here to change anybody's minds. People like it, people hate it. I, I happen to love it and use it a lot. So I put this presentation together just to talk about some of the things that I come across that might help some people in the way they approach AI. I had a client at the moment, and I was so surprised by his the fright of talking to AI. So I bring this into the conversation as well today, and then I'll talk about something more advanced like Hermes, which is my absolute well, okay, sorry, ChatGPT. My second favorite tool. ChatGPT doesn't mind that I have a favorite or a new second favorite. So most people think their problem is that they don't know how to prompt. My argument tonight is that the deeper skill is learning how to brief, guide, and develop an AI colleague. I mean, do not approach this that like this is a thing that you're dealing with. If you're doing that, then I think you're already losing in what you can gain from using AI. You know, many people open an AI tool, they don't speak to it correctly or they don't prompt it correctly. Um, they get a response, they dislike the result, and they go, "Oh, what are people talking about? AI is overhyped." So I'll show you some practical moves, how to talk to it, teach it, and perhaps even turn some ideas into usable content. So we'll cover a bit about social media as well. With AI, there's definitely a mindset shift. People, I guess it's because they come to AI and they come to using, we'll be talking a lot about ChatGPT. So they come to use ChatGPT um, and they have this idea that it's so clever, and it is and it isn't. You need to tell it exactly what you want and set a goal, otherwise you're not going to get the results you want, and quite often it's going to confidently lie to you. So I definitely need teach human in the loop. So you're responsible for what comes out of it. If you don't check up on it, if you don't double check it, if you don't challenge it, you'll create slop, and then you can't blame ChatGPT because what you got was inferior content. So most people, they assume AI success is just about the prompt. I think it's about talking to it and iteration. So you basically need to give it a job, brief it properly, and then improve the way the job is done. You have to think about it as somebody that's started working for you now, has gone to university or college, or they trained up to do the job, but they don't know how to do it your way.
Sergio's available. All right, give me a moment.
Sorry, I'm hearing somebody's. So The most useful ship is to think of it like a manager. Give it a job, brief it properly, and then improve the way the job is done. So iterate. So you start with an outcome. Help me win back lapsed customers. And this is, for example, I mean, I would use something like that if you're in a sales position. So you're looking at your sales reports and you see some people haven't bought, and then you go and investigate why. I love throwing spreadsheets and data at it, but then you have to brief it, and you brief it like you would talk to a person. Yes, there was a very good example. Like the moment I asked this guy to start speaking to ChatGPT, tell it what he wanted, what the outcome was supposed to be, etc. He just fumbled because he thought about ChatGPT as a thing. But no, you have to just give it context, give it a goal, give it constraints, and what a good result might look like. And then you iterate. So basically, the bottom line, it's not just about prompting. I have a GPT prompt or ChatGPT GPT prompt professional that I use and update all the time for really long, intricate prompts. But the first thing to do with ChatGPT is learn how to speak to it. So, for example, this presentation, I suck at presentations. Before ChatGPT and AI, I never did presentations. Those were for clever people, people who would sit for hours working with PowerPoint, etc. And I know ChatGPT can do presentations really well. So I told it what I wanted. I gave it it created a first draft for me, and then I looked at that and I went away and I thought about it. Does this bring across what I want to bring across? What else has happened in the last week or two that might be useful for you to take away and maybe apply? And one of the questions somebody's come up to me with is about presentations. How can they create easier presentations? And right inside ChatGPT, you can create these. You can give it instructions. Again, speak to it. I like to talk to it. I like to use the voice because then, like my fellow trainer Mary would say, she can riff about it. And you can basically just hear yourself out and see what the result is. And then you iterate, you correct, and you build from there. So voice is not a feature, it's a thinking interface. For me, it's like when I use it as a coach. So with business, you have obstacles. And what's nice about ChatGPT, you often see this when people, they'll post on LinkedIn and they'll have this idea, well, somebody keeps asking me for advice and they don't take it. Well, I'm one of those people who like to do my own thinking because of exactly that reason. And with AI, and because I coach, I'm able to come at it from the mindset of I own a business, but let's be my coach and help ChatGPT coach me so I can get clarity so you can speak with it. And I think often if you're a newbie speaking to it, and it's so much better now than it was before. I mean, the voice capabilities now with ChatGPT is beyond. So you can basically, for whatever usage, you can just prompt it. You can tell it what it is you want, and you can tweak and edit as you speak. And then I always just add at the end, I say to it, now, if you can improve on this prompt, you understand what the outcome is, what it is I want from this, please do that. And it gives me better outcomes that way. So the messy conversation is, so in this instance, you want to win back lapsed customers with a credible reason to return this weekend. So audience customers that's been inactive for 60 to 90 days, offer one clear reason, not a catalog, an action. So you can try something like this. If you guys want to, you can take a picture of this, type it down, but help me think aloud. Ask one question at a time until you understand the customer, offer, and next action. So this is not giving it to AI so you can just get an outcome and you don't understand the outcome. This is about giving it to AI in a conversation. It reflects back to you. It gives you ideas. You iterate on that and you get a better outcome in terms of your proposal, your offer for the weekend. And at the same time, you get better results in terms of sales. The other thing, this is quite a cool feature, but you have to be willing to ask questions. So I work a lot with Hermes. Now, if you're familiar with AI, you'll hear the word skill. It's something that appeared in the last few months. ChatGPT got skills, Claude got skills, and basically all it means is they got a skill to perform a specific function, whether it's being a librarian, whether it's being a doctor, whether it's being a lawyer, etc. So you load that skill and you get a better outcome when you ask questions around that, or you get it to act as a copywriter, etc. But I mean, I don't have the time. So there's, for example, this group called, I'm not going to give their name, but they have a YouTube channel. They're specialists in copywriting. So I said to I said to Claude, I use Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT, Hermes. I've got paid versions on these because I just love the outcomes I get. So I said to Claude, here's this link to their channel. Can you look at the top 10 videos, the most popular videos? I want you then to take the content from that and create me a detailed copywriting skill based on the way they write copy. And then I took the outcome from that. It went off, I went off and did my thing, and it took the outcome from that and it created a skill. And then I said to Hermes, which I constantly update with new skills. I also updated the skill into Claude, and I said to Hermes, here's a skill I just created. Because Hermes is self-evolving, I'm just going to pop onto the Hermes now. So Hermes is self-evolving. So I host it on my computer. I can connect it with a large language model. At the moment, I use a DeepSeek Flash because it's really good on price point and the agentic work it can do. So I just said to Hermes, can you upload this skill and then have a look and see if there's actually anything in the skill that will improve how I work and the work we put out. And it had a look and it came back and said, yeah, there's really some good parts we can use here that definitely upgrades what we currently produce. So it updated the skill and it said to me, shall we try this on something? And I said, well, you know what? I have an e-commerce site. Can you run the skill through there? And he said, shall we do a few products? I said, let's do that. So it went off and it applied the skill to 5 or 6 products. I liked the outcome. Then, okay, here's a more technical bit. So then it went off after I said to it, okay, you've done 5 or 6 products, but there's 390 products. I want you to do all of them and then give me the outcome in a spreadsheet. And I want you to use Hermes 2 and 3 for this because I use 3 computers. That the Hermes on this Mac is Hermes Prime and I have Hermes 2 and 3. And it basically then goes off and gives them jobs. And in between the 3 of them, they went off and they performed this task. I got an outcome and I was like, that's great. But you told me what's wrong, but you didn't tell me what the proper fix is. I don't want to now go and sit and fix every one of these things that need to be updated. Can you write me an extra column and do that? And then, it goes off and does all that. And that, the you can imagine a spreadsheet with 400 products, I think it's 5 or 6 columns, and it did all of that for me over the course of a day while I got on with something else. So this is the more technical side of using local AIs. But if you have a powerful enough computer and you're very privacy focused, which a lot of people actually are, then the likes of Hermes hooked up to a local agent or local LLM, if your computer is powerful enough, is quite the way to go. So this, I just explained this. I basically use. I also want to just highlight here the fact that this is about not limiting your thinking. If you start thinking AI, you constantly think, oh, how can I do that better? What's the solution for this? So the worst thing to come at AI with is a box, a boundary. I always think that people that are currently in IT, etc., they're going to come at this boxed in their knowledge. And yeah, I've worked IT, etc., but for me, I come at it with questions. I think of it like, oh, it's this clever thing. It must be able to do everything. And then I just iterate and create boundaries from there. So I am willing to ask it anything, and if it can do it, I'll say to it, can you fix the Bluetooth driver on that Hermes over there because it keeps dropping the speaker, and it will go off and do that. So it depends. Your ceiling, glass ceiling, or the capacity of what you can do is basically limited by your imagination. So let's see what choose to stall. So you could, for example, do the same thing. What is it that you do? You could ask Claude to create a framework, Hermes to create a skill. I mean, somebody said to me yesterday, they were like, this app is costing me 70 euros a month. Is there a way I can get a version of it that doesn't cost me that much money? And I said, well, let me try. And I just said to Claude, can you copy the function of this app? And it created an HTML file that does exactly that. So it's really easy, and it's the limits of whatever limits you put on yourself, just step beyond that. Let's see. One useful idea can become a week of short videos. This actually came up in a chat with somebody on our training, and I said, well, they asked a question about social content, and there was a team of 2 of them, and I said, do you know your subject matter? They said yes. I said, well, why don't you have a chat about it? Record yourself for 10 minutes, just talking about what you do, what solutions you offer, what people get from working with you, so they can get to know you. So if you did 10 minutes and you passed that through Opus Clip, you could potentially have 5 clips that you could put out on social media. I mean, you can also use Gemini, etc., or Google Vids to edit, but Opus Clip is really fast and convenient for that. And then once you have that content, you can then use it to create blog posts, social media posts. So all of that from 10 minutes, and then you can run it through ChatGPT, and you can say to it, can you create content from this for me? I'd like it to be this way, X, Y, and Z. Obviously, you train it, so you might probably use a project folder for this. So it's that project folder just covers the social media content that you produce for that business, so you can give it a brand kit, etc., etc. For me and for a lot of people, I would start. Gemini is really good. Gemini is the landscape and the products you get in the Gemini stable is massive. But ChatGPT is for social media content, for blog posts, etc. As long as you follow this little rule, keep yourself in the loop and iterate. It is really good, and its image creation is amazing. And something Ian was mentioning earlier is you can. I mean, these are crappy images. I just put these together, but you could say to it, take these 3 images, put this bottle in there, and I want you to create 6 more images for me, and we'll just fine tune from there. So it makes these things to create really, really fast. So yeah, I think I'll stop here. I've covered most of this. Something you might want to think about is when you speak to ChatGPT, especially about legal things and health related matters, it's always going to say to you, oh, this is something you should talk to your doctor about or your lawyer about. And just say to it, listen, I fully intend to speak to whichever professional it is, but at the meantime, I am just doing research. And that's basically what you're doing. You're doing research. So I'm just asking you to help me better understand the subject matter so I can ask better questions. And that is that. I think I made it just in time, or just slightly
thank you
over
very
time.
much, mate. Really interesting there. Do you want to just stop sharing your screen for
I'm
me?
doing it, yeah.
And I'll take you off of the spotlight. So there we go. We're all back in the room together. I must admit, I'm somebody who sort of scratches the surface with ChatGPT, and the I do use it, but I haven't gone deep diving into it. And I've been to for the first time, I've been to one of your AI schools this week, which is a free option to learn a little bit more about it, where yourself and your partner in AI
Very.
schooling can help sort of answer questions, and it's a really interesting meetup. Would you
Thank you.
just like to tell the people here when that is? What day it falls on, what time it falls on, both UK. I mean, obviously, working out that 5 hours behind New York, 8 hours behind is Los Angeles. So, for those in America, just if you can work it out yourself, roughly what time it is, or reach out to Paul if you haven't already connected with him on LinkedIn. To obviously then for him to send you some more information on it. But it's a really interesting sort of bite-sized little chunks of information that is really driven by the audience, because it's the audience. It's like a question session where you go around and say, I'm looking to do this. Can it help me with that? And what would be the best solution? Really, really informative hour of sitting down with somebody who understands AI and can give you the options to understand it yourself. Would you like to just quickly go through that, Paul, with when it is, what it is, and how obviously to get onto it?
Well, it's Mondays at 4 o'clock British Standard Time, and we shared a link on the TTVCA, so on the WhatsApp group. So if you are on the WhatsApp group, it's on there. Everybody's welcome, and like Sean says, it is just a space for people to experience AI and think about ways that they can improve what they do, how they live, etc., using AI. And I love that format because it means I don't come to those pre-scripted. I'm on the spot. Mary's there. She's more of a developer than I am, but I just love the way we do it, so that people walk away, and sometimes in 2 sessions that they visit, they actually get so much from it. I mean, it's like they go, oh my gosh, that's just changed how I think about doing that. And I can actually do all this with it. And I get messages for simple things. I mean, I think the parts I like the most is not the complicated parts. I like the fact that somebody will go, well, I'm teaching Nepalese people to speak English, but not the Queen's English. I just want them to be able to converse here or in the UK. And I created this brochure, and yeah, they have such a good time. We also have a YouTube channel with very few followers, so please feel free to follow. It's called the AI School of Possibilities, because AI gives you possibilities. Matt, you had a question.
Hi, yeah, sorry. I might have just jumped the gun there. I think maybe you just answered the question. I was just going to follow on asking where we would find you and how we would log in and communicate with you if this was a fully sort of open, discussion course session like this is, where we might find the link.
Well, you'll find a link in the TTBCA group on Mondays. I posted it in the afternoon. So that's for the Monday talk. So that's usually that cartoon character of me and Mary that I've created. And as you're invited to come and chat at our AI weekly chat, ask us questions. And then we also record on Thursdays and edit on Fridays. And then we post now on Saturdays for the AI school. And then, because that's not enough, we started another channel called Coaching Health and Wellness for Over 50s, because we're both
I don't fall
coaches.
in that bracket. Sorry, Paul.
No, I'm not. Of course you don't, Matt. You're a youngster. I'm just telling for all the other people here that may fall in that bracket. So we have that as well. So yeah, look out for that.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, just to, I have used AI to support some things that I've done in the past. At present, is to overview my CV at present. Now, my wonderful work coach really sort of seemed to pick the bare bones out of my CV just last week, and said, I would strongly encourage you to maybe put that through AI and ask it to refine it to better standards. I said, what makes you think I haven't done that? She said, well, I don't know. I said, well, there you go, because this has already been put through AI and the ChatGTP platform.
Okay, can I ask you a question? Did you red team it?
Sorry?
So did you? There's a method called red teaming. So you take ChatGPT, it's gone through your CV. Okay.
Yeah.
You open up Claude, because Claude also gives you quite a bit for free. So if you have the two free versions, I don't know if you have the paid version, then you use Claude and you say to it, okay, this is my CV that I uploaded, and this is the feedback I got from ChatGPT. What do you think? You're an expert. You always say to it, put on your expert hat. You're a LinkedIn professional who is in HR, and you're looking at this. Where's this come up short? What would you recommend? And then when you have that feedback, you give it back to ChatGPT and say, okay, well, Claude says this and it's added these points. Can you now play devil's advocate for me and give me that feedback? So do not approach AI like so many people do. They want it to be sycophantic. Oh, AI is nice to me. I had a bad childhood, and this is the first time something is nice to me. No, AI's, unless you use it as a coach or a therapist, that's great. Use it to think better with. Challenge your thinking. Look at what you're creating. If you're doing a CV is an important piece of paper for you.
Yeah.
So run it through two AIs, spend the time back and forth, ask questions, see what can be improved. And then when you have a final product, you stick it into both in completely new chats and you say, scale this for me.
Okay.
I've worked on this. What does this product look like? And what can I still improve? So again, and then give it to your coach and say to her, what does she think now? And say to her, if she wants to give you feedback, it doesn't need to be sarcastic. What she needs to do is actually tell you what's working and what's not working, so you know what to improve. And that's me being sarcastic about your coach. I'm sorry.
Oh, please don't be. I mean, I'm going to be very, very, very polite, but yeah, she's useless. Yeah,
To the point.
that's to be
To the
polite.
point there,
That's
Mark.
very
Sorry.
polite. Yeah.
But
Very
just to
diplomatically put
clarify.
there, Matt.
Sorry, yeah, thank you. I'm not very good with my wording. I kind of say it how it is, but yeah, that's brilliant advice there, Paul. I will definitely give that a go. And just to clarify, when you mentioned Claude, the spelling of this is Charlie
CLA.
Alpha Uniform Delta Echo.
Yes.
Yeah,
Just look up Claude AI. Let me just look at what the URL is for Claude, because I closed half my tabs, or most of them. Just look up Claude AI.
yeah. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
And
Yeah.
obviously, Matt, you can also ask ChatGPT to, and/or Claude, of course, to work out what's the best thing to describe someone who's useless without being offensive. That may well give you a better word to use. But brilliant there. Thank you for that. Tim, you've got your hand up, my friend.
Yeah, no, I found that really interesting. The fact you described it. It's the way I tell people when I go in. I see them go in and they say, right, I'm going to use AI for everything. And I mean, it says it, I'm just going to go with it. And then it gets them in trouble and they wonder why I go in and go, well, who said that? Oh, it wasn't that person. It was, and they blame it. They don't blame a person, for example. So I really, he said the fact that there's nice now, I'm not said, I'm kind of not on the fence, but it's a tool. It's not there to be. And with what, funny enough, I said what, Matt, what you said just now, there are some people they blindly believe whatever that says is what how things should be, but they're always good at going back and going, no, but when it doesn't suit, they'll blame it instead of, I'm going to say it, they use it as an excuse, just as a. So yeah, I see it quite often that it has to be used in a responsible way rather than there needs to be a person quality controlling is the way I describe it.
Yeah.
I'd agree there, Tim. I think, just I'll come to Paul in a second because I'm sure he wants to add to this, but it's a bit like, yeah, there's this sort of image of AI that, you tap something in, it spits it out, and you use it. I think that is where a lot of people who are reading stuff, the people reading it, make the impression or have the impression that AI is missing so much, but it's mainly because of the inputter not actually testing and pushing harder for more detailed answers and more correct answers. And it's not, it's there as, if you like, as an employee, isn't it? Really, I mean, it's there to be guided and and obviously shown. But the misconception is that you see there's so much poor content going out because people are just using maybe first draft of what it spits out and they're not delving in deeper in order to make it really make it constructive but also make it correct. And that's where I think a lot of people looking in who made an opinion of AI, especially in its early days, is that they think, oh, this is rubbish, or this is going to take over and it's taking away the human element. It's not if you're not using the first draft, because the first draft is often needing to be tweaked. And of course, that's where the human content comes into it. That's where more detail has to be given to it. It's learning all the time. Back to you, Paul.
No, sorry, Matt had a question. You're perfectly right, Sean.
Yeah, so I couldn't figure out how to raise the hand on your screen. Tim done it, but I don't seem to have that function. It was on the back of what Tim was saying. Actually, like I perfectly agree with what you said. I mean, I'd spent quite a while really going through my CV myself, detailing everything as best I possibly could, and then just utilizing the platform to just make it that bit more professional and for it to stand out that bit more, and making sure that you go through it a fine tooth comb just for any errors or mistakes that it may have flagged up. But it is very simple to just write something and say, please make this more professional, and it will do it exactly that. But having it tailor to a specific industry that you're going into, I do find it quite good on that aspect. And I'm sure with the additional AI supports that have been mentioned, it most probably will become a bit better and more interesting when doing so. Yeah.
Has anybody got any other questions for Paul? No? Right. Well, that was Paul de Kock from the AI
Great
School.
presentation, Paul.
Sorry.
Thanks, Santa Papa John.
Sorry,
Thank
Santa
you.
Papa John.
Yeah, I just said, Ian, sorry for stepping on you. I said, great presentation.
Yeah, no problem. Just for the YouTube listeners, that was Paul de Kock from the AI School. And it's not the AI School of Hard Knocks. It's just the AI School. And he
No, it's the AI School of Possibilities.
Possibilities, yeah, not the AI School of Hard Knocks. So if you certainly want to find out more, reach out to Paul de Kock. You can find Paul on LinkedIn. He's active on there. If you can't find him there specifically, then contact myself on LinkedIn, and I will point you in the direction so that you too can get onto his School of Possibilities using AI and all the opportunities that it can bring you. For a big round of applause for Paul. Thank you very much, mate, for a fantastic opportunity to come and listen to you. And I'm going to stop the recording right there.